The demon sword Asperides was having a drink in the Wet Fang, well known as the coziest pub in the upper levels of the underworld, when he felt the long-forgotten tingling along his blade that meant that someone, somewhere, was about to create a zombie. Asperides stared at the purple steam rising from his drink as it mingled with the smoke that rose from his own metallic body and tried to tell himself that he was mistaken. He was just having a funny turn, that was all. He'd been out of the game too long, coasting through the top levels of the underworld, letting his magical powers grow rusty with disuse. It was nothing one of the Wet Fang's infamous concoctions couldn't fix. Not that Asperides could actually drink them. He was a sword, after all. But he liked the ritual, and he liked to think that with so many human souls inside of him, he could still feel some of the same sensations as the living. He thought that sometimes, if he concentrated hard enough, he could even smell whatever hair-curling aroma was arising from Tom the Barkeep's libations. Another tingle ran up and down his blade, and Asperides shuddered. Fortunately, there was no one around to see him. Asperides was a regular at the Wet Fang, and Tom was always good enough to reserve his favorite darkened corner for him. Granted, the underworld, being the underworld and all, was chock full of darkened corners, but Asperides appreciated the gesture all the same. Few would bother him as he hovered here, though few beings, whether they be renegade spirit, demon, human, or anything else, would bother a demon sword, period. Even a half-retired one. Asperides hadn't returned his consciousness to his form in the daylight world for over 300 years, and had no plans to break that record anytime soon. He'd had enough of the humans and their squabbling, and their grasping for power, and their wars. He'd had enough of masters using him to cut down their enemies and power their dark spells, even if they all paid for their crimes in the end, and they invariably did, as the scores of souls writhing in agony in the depths of Asperides' underworld prison could attest. Asperides had been more than satisfied, happy even, to lay down his burden and settle into this next phase of, well, he supposed he could call it existence, if not life. He did not know if he had ever been precisely alive. But when the third shudder passed through him, making him vibrate from point to hilt, he knew he could ignore the warning no longer. He turned his gaze inward, leaving the Wet Fang and his dark corner and his gently smoking beverage behind, leaving this part of the demon world for the small world within himself. Only when he looked upon the smudgy, indistinct forms of the soul fragments there did he fully realize what was happening, though he was loath to accept it. A piece of him was missing. Or rather, precisely, a piece of a soul was missing, and that could mean only one thing. Some powerful sorcery had dragged it back to its rightful owner. At that thought, another shiver passed through Asperides, though this time it wasn't magical in nature. It was fear. Whoever had attempted to resurrect this soul's body, a body who just happened to be Asperides' last master, surely didn't know the consequences of their actions. No one in their right mind would think the world would be a better place with Amaral Veneer back in the land of the living.